Yeah, people, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. So comfortably, well, can I even say comfortably? Because I cannot even say comfortably. But we did beat Fulham 2-0. First half was terrible. I think we can all agree the first half of this game just it wasn't it. It just felt like once the lap went off, the game just fell flat. I think that injury potentially kind of derailed a lot of the game plan we came in with. Um, we struggled to have anything going forward. I mean, and it didn't help that Enzo Fernandez was having one of his worst games in a while. Just just felt like he couldn't play a simple pass. He just couldn't do anything, you know. But I think come second half, we did do what we needed to do. Got the goal through Joao Pedro. And then, the second goal from the penalty. Did we actually hold up? Did we score that goal in the first half? Because now I think we scored that goal before we went into the half, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, give me 1 second. But either way, we went into actually we scored that first goal in the first half, stoppage time. And I think that kind of gave us a bit more freedom to play in the second half. And then we started to look a bit better. Very surprised Enzo Fernandez actually came up for the second half because that performance was just disgusting, But he still basically showed and took responsibility as the captain of the team. I would have, was good, Joe. Appreciate you, bro. Win is a win. Definitely. Definitely. A win is a win, and you're not always going to play brilliant football. You're not always going to play the most expensive football at times. And especially teams like Fulham, you might not always win pretty. It's just the reality. Last year we lost this game. Today we took all 3 points and we got a clean sheet. You can't be mad at that, and you have your number 9 scoring goals, being effective in both penalty boxes, essentially. Like Joao Pedro, we're going to come to him in a little bit. But, this was one of those games, early kickoff, you knew, okay, you know what? It's not going to be as comfortable because Fulham are a decent team. Let's not forget that as well. Yeah, they finished where they finished last year, but that Fulham team is still not too bad. So we always know when we play teams like, your Fulhams, your Wolves, your Brightons, these are the games that could be a bit testing. Maybe not Brighton because they could be, a bit expansive at times. But for the most part, yeah, this game, we needed those clutch moments. And that's where we talk about. First, let's talk about the starting 11. Pretty much the same starting 11 that started against West Ham. And then a couple of minutes into this game, Delap pulls up, hamstring. It's been reported he's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. That's rough. Like, that's actually rough. Because now he's going to be missing 2 months. And I looked at the fixtures around that time. A win is a win. Yeah, definitely. A win is a win. So I'm not even going to hate on the win, but we could always talk about what could be improved slightly, what we could do a bit better. We built a DNA on winning ugly. Again, when Jose Mourinho was here, Chelsea won gritty games. It wasn't always the prettiest. So listen, this is just it is what it is, right? We could always just talk about what could be better, what could be slightly worked on. But yeah, it sucks. Like, it really does suck that Delap, is going to be out for a minute. Now we only have Joao Pedro as, our number 9. Nicolas Jackson looked like he was going to be off to Bayern Munich. And then it's just the craziest things have just happened in the last couple of hours. And this is Chelsea Football Club for you in a nutshell. This literally is us. Chelsea just do Chelsea things. They just do the weirdest things, calling the player back. And to be fair, we've seen teams call back players, even if it was in Jan, when players are loaned to other clubs, the club can be like, hey, yo, in Jan, I'm going to pull you back. I need you to come back and, kind of cover. We did the same thing with Chalobah last year. So it's not like it's the weirdest thing, but it's also I've never seen a situation like this happen where the guy is literally going to do his medical, the deal has been accepted, and then in a few hours, like you could just imagine and feel what Jack like I'm gonna speak on both ends of it. I can understand what Jackson is going through. Like you're about to go to Germany, you're about to play for Bayern Munich. They only got Harry Kane. You're going to learn from one of the best finishers. And honestly, you need a fresh kind of start. You know what I mean? You came back this season. And to be fair to Chelsea as well, Jackson did force, our hands a bit. Actually, he forced our hands a lot. That card against Newcastle last year, when we needed you. So, you can't like you got to look at it on the whole. Like if you're talking of a pie, you got to look at it as a whole pie. Some of Jackson's behaviors on the pitch, especially, have basically led him to be third choice right now. And that's just the reality. In big games, last season, you got that card. We missed you. We had to run it when Neto. We had to run it against Newcastle. Second half, 10 against 11. Club World Cup, you did the same thing again. We had to run it again with the lab. Had to get Joao Pedro to come in. And it's just you keep in the last couple of months, you have put us in very, precarious situations. You've put us in situations where we have been handicapped. So if the team wants to improve on you, that's just what comes with it. But sometimes I get it. Being told you're the third choice is really not it's not something you absolutely want to hear. Because to Jackson's perspective, I've been the main striker for 2 years. And that's been my position. But then also, you've had 2 years to really show us that you could be that guy who leads the line. Yeah, you got 14 goals your first season. You got another 10, decent numbers. But when you've played the amount of minutes you've played unchallenged in that role, there's got to be an expectation to see more. There's got to be an expectation to see you improve in certain aspects of your game that we clearly know you can improve in and you should improve in. And it just felt like Jackson, when it came to him being a forward or a striker, the improvement wasn't coming. So I can understand from Chelsea's point of view, like, yo, listen, 2 years you've had the shirt. Now we got to bring in reinforcements because it just feels like we have to elevate. We have to go to the next level. But from Jackson's perspective as well, I can understand you got to make the best decision for yourself. You don't want to sit on the bench behind three guys. You don't even know when you're going to play. The only time Jackson probably would have gotten game time would have been Delap and Joao Pedro starting games together. That's when you're going to have Jackson on the bench. I mean, you could still have Jackson on the bench regardless, but it's like, yo, you're probably not going to get a lot of game time in a lot of like the big games. But you could also force your way into the manager's plans. I mean, it just means you have to improve and you have to be better. For you to be ahead of, I don't know how Jackson could go ahead of Joao Pedro, but also at the same time, to be ahead of Joao Pedro, you just got to be a better finisher. That's it. If Jackson was scoring a goal every 2 games, there's no sign in to improve on him. Like, that's just a reality. Like, no one is bringing in Joao Pedro to come and, take his spot. If anything, Pedro would have been brought in to play behind you. And then you could still, have, honestly, Jackson still has a decent because Joao Pedro could be played in the 10. Even in today's game, he was played in the 10 behind Tyreek George. So essentially, Jackson and Delap are going to be our strikers. I believe Maresca said something like, I see Jackson as a number 9. I see Delap as a number 9. I see Pedro like someone who could play in the 10, someone who's a bit more versatile, but also can play in the 9. So realistically, we have 2 number 9s in Jackson and Delap. So you could have still been getting game time. Maresca would have just been running it with Pedro in the 10 or, Pedro, Palma, 2 10s, run it with Jackson up front, Delap up front. So he could have still gotten minutes. And there was no guarantee the lap was going to come in and just hit the ground running. At least you've been here 2 years. You know the system, you know the club, you know the culture, you know what it takes. So you definitely could have taken that number off of the lap. But if you don't want to compete, it is what it is. But I'm not also going to sit here and go like Chelsea did you dirty either, because you're still contracted to like what 2029, maybe a bit more. You're still contracted to Chelsea. Bayern Munich are just taking you on the loan. And if Bayern really, here's my thing. Bayern are going to be over here trying to make it seem like, we messed up the deal. And yeah, we probably did, but it's like, he's still our player. And one of our strikers is going to be out for the next 2 months. We're bringing him back. So it's either we bring him back or you make that loan an obligation. Business is business. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and watch Bayern Munich pay 50 million for Luis Diaz. And then you want to get mad at the fact that you can't get Jackson after the fact that the lab is out. I'm sorry. I want the interest of my club before Bayern's. So if Jackson has to come back, he has to come back. Or you just pay him out. You just buy Jackson outright. Just pay the 50, 60 mil outright, loan with obligation. Then you know what? We don't have a say in the situation. But what we could do is we could take the money, reinvest it into the team, find another striker till Delap is back. We have about 2 international breaks in between those 6 to 8 weeks that Delap is supposed to be out. Okay, we can manage. We don't have to go get somebody too crazy. For me, the best player right now that I could potentially look at is Wissa. Wissa is still trying to leave Brentford. He doesn't want to play for Brentford. His deal to Newcastle, I don't know if it's going to happen. They just signed Walter Maid for damn near 80 million pounds. Are they really going to spend another 40 on Wissa? I mean, are they really going to sell Isak as well? We're going to find out in 2 days. But if Bayern want to make this deal official, make that loan an obligation. You really want to be salty about it? Look, Jackson don't want to come back. His agent is like, the plane doesn't go back in reverse or some shit like that. I bet. No problem. You don't want to turn that flight around. You're already there. They could just fax over the contract, new terms, loan with obligation for Nicolas Jackson. They sign it. We sign it. You give us a 65, 70 mil. You take Jackson. We go to Brentford. Hey, how much for Wissa? Wissa wants to leave. And see, with Brentford, right? We could even give them, we could add an extra to it. Maybe add a Sterling on loan. We cover most of his bread. You cover the other half. We give you a nice little 40 mil. Cool. Get Wissa in, Jackson gone. And guess what? Wissa being 28, it doesn't really impact Delap's development, and it doesn't impact Joao Pedro's development. People have always been asking for Chelsea to get players who are of a certain age, experience. Go get Wissa. Smart investment. 28 wouldn't really take that much away from these other guys. You can still have Wissa. You can still play Joao Pedro with Wissa. Listen, Wissa's not in the starting 11. It's on the bench. Delap plays. Wissa, Delap don't play. Joao Pedro play. But that will be, for me, that will be the perfect replacement for Jackson at this moment. Another name you could throw out there could be Mateta, but Palace are not going to sell him. And if Mateta is going to leave Palace, he's going to leave for a big fee. It's 2 days till the transfer window is done. So any striker you want to go get who is under contract for a long time, it's going to cost you money. But if Bayern really want to buy Jackson and they make it an obligation, we need another striker. You can't play Joao Pedro to the ground. Funny enough, I said this before. I said, we could really do with 3 strikers. Other people say, why you need 3 strikers? You already got Delap and Joao Pedro. I said, yeah, but what's wrong with having 3 strikers? If one goes down, you have 2. And also, Joao Pedro is more of a player that, the Swiss Army knife. He plays in different roles, the 10, the 9, left wing. So having two strikers doesn't really impact, anybody like that. Jackson can still be a 9. The lab, Joao Pedro, if he's played as a 9, cool. If he's played as a 10, cool. But that's my only thing. If Bayern Munich want to really keep Jackson, then just make this an obligation. Yes, we're gonna get a nice low, loan fee for Jackson. His wages covered by Bayern, but bro, we have one striker. I don't understand how. I mean, it looks very unprofessional, absolutely, because you can't just have an agreement of some sort and just pull it like that. That's just grimy. Like if we had that kind of agreement, if Chelsea had an agreement with Bayern and they did this, I'll be tight because I'll be like, yo, we had an agreement, so why would you do it like that? But the reality of the story is, man, look, nothing has been signed off yet. The medical ain't been done yet. We only have one striker. He's our player. We've been trying to sell him with an obligation, and you've been trying to just get it off with the loan. So here we are. What you want to do, Bayern? Would I really want to bring, this Jackson situation is like the Isak situation, slightly, in the sense of Jackson doesn't want to play for the team. He don't want to come back. That's a reality. Isak doesn't want to play for Newcastle. Jackson doesn't want to come back. So what do? My best, solution, let him go. But let him go with the obligation or they're buying him. If not, bring him back. Because I said the same thing with Isak as well. You got a contract for 3 years. If this team is not going to meet my valuation for you, you're staying. That's just what it is. If they think you're that important to them, if they really want you that bad, give me the money I think you're worth. It's just what it is. So, yes, it will be toxic. I mean, Jackson will probably do Jackson things especially when it comes to the on-field, shenanigans. I don't know. Will his head be here? Probably not. Would he be interested in really trying to work for the team? Probably not. But you got to be a professional. This is just what it is. You have a contract. You got to honor it. Because when you were suspended, when you were given a red card, when you were injured and all of that crap, you were still getting paid because you're contractually connected to the team. So you were still getting paid. When you got your red cards, you still got your check, I'm sure. Because we would have heard, if Jackson didn't get his check, we would have heard it. If anybody doesn't get the check, you hear it. So you're suspended, you're out injured, whatever, you're getting paid. Same situation. You're contracted to the club, you have a contract, and we need you back. If Bayern really, really wants to, look, they'll pay the money. But it's just been funny. He's like, his agents are like, they're not coming back. Jackson doesn't want to come back. But I don't think you have a choice in the matter. Like, I don't think you could do much about it because you have a contract. Like, I wish it didn't go this route, but it's here, and we need you to come back. Like, yeah, the club could have been moving like we didn't need you, but right now we do. And the ball's in your court right now. You come back, Delap is out for 2 months. Yo, you come back, put your head down, get your shirt back, and you cool. Like, Delap will have to come back and actually prove himself to take your spot. And you being on smoke and you being in good form, look, you can have these guys on the bench. Like, Maresca's always liked Jackson. Maresca has always liked Jackson. He's always praised his professionalism. He's always praised his talent, his ability. He's always supported Jackson. So it ain't going to be like it's a hard mountain to climb. Nah, Maresca has always appreciated Jackson for what he offers the team. And we've always appreciated Jackson for what he can really offer to the team. It's just there's times when we have to highlight the inconsistencies, but that's just what it is. The big players, the Salahs, the Palmers, the Suckers, all these guys still get criticism, even when they do well and they still do certain things now great, people still highlight it. How many times have you had Cole Palmer hasn't scored an open play goal for months? You hear it. But the guy just been showing up in finals, a goal, 2 goals in the final, another in the Conference League, an assist, like 2 assists in the final. but you're always going to get the whole he's been, taking time off for the last couple of months. Big players are going to hear it. Salah could be terrible in the game and still get his goal or assist, but he's still going to hear it. Saka, same. So Jackson is no different. He's really no different. But yeah, look, it's going to be very interesting to see how the next 24, 48 hours go because we need Jackson back. And then Fabrizio also talked about the whole Fermin Lopez situation, how Barcelona don't want to sell him. Chelsea is still putting in a bid. Let me just pull this up really quick. Chelsea are putting in a bid. They're trying to talk to his agents. And my thing is if Lopez wasn't interested, or if he didn't give the go ahead in terms of if there was no kind of conversations on personal terms and him being slightly interested in, in the situation, I don't think he, we put in the bid because the whole situation with Xavi Simons, we were told every single day, every week, Chelsea have to sell Nkunku to get Xavi Simons in. Nkunku is connected to Xavi Simons. But there was actually no official bid. There was literally no official written proposal sent to Leipzig for Simons. But with Lopez, after the game, we sent 40 million euros. Now, it's a negotiation. You can't just pull up with your best offer. So starting low is the smartest thing you can do. 40 million euros is about what, 35 to like 38 million pounds. Obviously might not be accepted, but at least you start with that. You start with this and hey, they go, no. This ain't enough. We want 75. We want 80 million euros. So now you got 40, you got 80. You meet somewhere in the middle. I don't know. About 60 million euros. 65 if you really want to push it, depending on how much you really rate the guy and how much you really want to get the guy. It's 48 hours till the transfer window's done. So it's going to come at a premium. Now you have to convince him that he has a clear pathway to the team. Lopez, this is how I see you fitting into the team. I believe you and Palmer could be the two tens in the system. Palmer's going to play in the right half space. You're going to play on the left half space. I'm going to have either Esteval or a fullback on the other side. I'm going to have Gittins or Garnacho or Pedro Neto on the other side. Hell, I could even have Joao Pedro on that side. But this is your pathway. This is how I think you could play in this team. It's going to be you, Enzo, Palmer this week, whatever the situation will be. But you have to clearly define what he's going to be doing when he gets here. He's from the academy. You know it's going to be tough for him to leave. But look, Mark Guiu had to leave. I mean, that was a very cheap one. But, it could be something that could be attractive to Lopez, a new challenge. We've been told Cucurella has been on the phone talking to him. Maresca's spoken to him as well. So Barcelona's stance is they don't want to sell. They believe he's going to stay. Their coaches also say they believe he's going to stay. But Chelsea are pushing, they put in pressure, allegedly, with his agents. We're trying to pitch the contract situation to them. We're trying to pitch the goal and how Jeremy Carragher will say players have to stop signing for Chelsea. Like, what are they going there to do? Well, this is where our directors have to show us why these guys keep signing for us. But it's very interesting because with Simons, we actually never sent an official proposal. So then that just tells me we didn't want Simons. I'll be so honest. And then Fabrizio came again with this. Barcelona maintained their position. No plans to sell Fermin Lopez this summer following Chelsea bid. The only way Fermin exits will be in case he decides to leave, with future now in players' hands. So if we've been talking to him and, from whatever you read, it feels like, yeah, he's slightly, maybe open to the idea of it. You got to have the players buy-in before you send in a bid to the team. Like even recently with Tottenham versus Chelsea for the whole Xavi Simons situation. Spurs bid, but surely they had some sort of motivation, some sort of a nudge from the player side, like, hey, I actually, yeah, we might be interested. We could agree personal terms, but let's say Chelsea's my clear favorite. But if that doesn't work out and you guys still want to sign me, we already have these things signed up. Like, what you want to do? So I think on some level, the player has given some sort of indication that he might be open to the idea. He probably has left it out there. Look, I might be open to it. See what Barcelona says. See how they feeling. But if Barcelona say they don't want to sell and Fermin Lopez wants to go, then this deal might be accelerated. But look, I haven't watched a lot of Fermin Lopez, so I can't even tell you the kind of profile he is. I looked at his stats the other day. You saw a lot of greens when it came to his attack and output. I did the comparison between him and Buonanotte, and you could tell Fermin, when it comes to attacking, he's in the greens, 80th percentile for a lot of these, non-penalty goals and shots per game and whatnot. Buonanotte's, his greens were more on the defensive side of his game. So it was a very interesting balance, which that's another player that is also joining this team. But he's coming on a loan, so we're not even going to really worry about that. But if we could get this deal done and he comes in and he shows what he could really do, he's been described as someone who is kind of a Mason Mount profile. And once somebody starts a conversation with Mason Mount, it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary if he's being described as a Mason Mount profile with more technical ability and being two-footed. I'm already panicking because Mount for us really wasn't a bad player. And that's like being honest. He wasn't a terrible player. He just was a limited player, is what I'll say. Like for some of the roles and responsibilities he was given in this team, I just felt he didn't have the qualities sometimes for that. Because when you play Mason Mount in those, kind of like withdrawn forward roles, like those inside tens, the 3-4-3, him being the left-sided forward. Yeah, he's technical to an extent. He's comfortable on the ball. Mount always had this like half turn that was trademark. He could he's a good player, but it's just for me in that role, I always preferred someone who was a bit more creative and a bit more clinical. Someone who could just make things happen out of nothing. And for me, that just wasn't his best role. But he still played it. We still won the champs with Mason Mount. We literally won the champs with Mount, Havertz, and Timo Werner. So it's just to describe Lopez as a Mount, I was like, damn, boy, okay. But we'll see how he moves if and when he comes in. If he comes in, look, we'll see what he could do. We definitely need the reinforcements because let's be honest. In the champs, right? If you're in the Champions League, matter of fact, you know what? Hold up. Let's do this right now since we're here. We'll do it after. Let me just finish what I need to do, and then we could watch some comps and just break down, some of the traits we see in these videos and whatnot. But it will be nice to bring in an additional, player that can provide some sort of creative spark, someone who can carry this team forward. When we're lacking ideas in certain games, you want someone to be able to either unlock a defense, unlock a little bit of space, create something out of nothing, and it will be a nice addition to have Furman. I mean, he's highly rated. So if a player is highly rated, you don't have to watch him for other people to let you know that he's decent, So it is what it is. And then today, the Garnacho deal was confirmed, official. And I could just tell you, there was no one happier than Fabrizio. Fabrizio must be over the moon to see his boy is finally a Chelsea player. Because my God, Fab did not let us rest with this one. Fab literally had every single Chelsea fan in a chokehold with the Garnacho to Chelsea thing. He did not let us sleep. He did not let us forget it. He didn't let you even sleep. Like, you know, anybody who's watched Everybody Hates Chris, there was this there was this episode where this guy was hustling Chris for money, and then Julius pulled up, and the guy was like, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm his father." And he goes, "Wherever if you're asleep, I'll be there. In the shower, I'll be there. If you keep messing with my son." That was literally Fabrizio to us this whole summer. This whole summer, man. He was Julius, and we Chelsea fans were the guy hustling Chris for bread. You're in the shower. Fabrizio's like, "Yeah, Garnacho's coming. I'm telling you. You're dreaming." Fabrizio's in your dreams. Alejandro Garnacho. This is perfectly going to happen. Chelsea is positive. He did not let. So I know he's definitely happy about this. I saw the video. I mean, it was cool. Now, welcome. Welcome to Chelsea Football Club, and it's hard to be excited about Garnacho on a level because it's just we've seen so much of Garnacho and Man United. Like it just it just it, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just I've just watched him a lot of times, and I've just thought to myself, my God, he's awful. You know, I've just thought to myself, yo, he is awful. Like he's tripping over the ball, tripping over his feet, making the wrong decision, shooting when he needs to pass, passing when he needs to shoot. It just didn't make sense. Um, could it have been, United tax? Sure. Because you've seen a lot of these guys leave Man United as an institution and they've gone other places and they've been pretty decent. Jadon Sancho didn't really set the world alive here, but at least he showed us glimpses. I think he showed us more at Chelsea than he ever showed at Man United. Scott McTominay won the Serie A with Napoli, getting goals from midfield, looking like a serious box to box midfielder. So you're looking at Anthony, left went to Real Betis, and Anthony can stop scoring in Spain. So it's like it's possible, it could be a new environment brings, kind of just a new optimism. It just brings a new opportunity to just let everything you used to do at your old spot go and just have a new fresh start. Like this is a fresh start for you. Bygones are bygones because nobody over here really you haven't really beefed with anybody here. But it's also I'm just gonna have one eye on Garnacho because it's just I'm not just gonna forget that this guy at United just was awful at times to watch, and a lot of the social media antics by his little brother as well. It's just yeah, people could be like, why are you really focused on that? But it all adds up to it, it adds up to the perception, it all adds up to the annoyance, and as long as my guy is going to show up here, head down, and just be ready to just fight for the team, fight for the badge, and contribute however, you do what you got to do. You've pulled up to a team that arguably has a lot of players that I would say are just much better than you. Like Neto is better than you. Esteval is better than you. Cole Palmer is better than you. Joao Pedro better than you. You know, I think him and Gittins, for me, I still prefer Gittins because Gittins for me just looks a bit more polished than Garnacho, just more polished. Yeah, Gittins is looking a bit raw now, but I like Gittins. Like I'll pick him every day over Garnacho, but we have them both now, So as long as he's gonna come here, head down, just fight for his position and do what he needs to do, I'm calm with it. He's our player now. The support is gonna be there. And then when you start fooling around, then that's just when we got to talk about it. That's just when we got to have a conversation about it. But Garnacho to Chelsea, hey, listen, welcome. It is what it is. But let's go back to this Fulham game because Fulham did get a goal in this game. Very controversially chalked off. There's been a lot of discourse. I mean, so many people see this in so many different ways. And the argument is, was Fulham robbed? Did we benefit from a lot of, refereeing decisions? In football, sometimes you do have to be lucky. That was a foul to me. But then the argument is, if this was the other way around and a foul was called on a goal we scored, would I have been like, that's not a foul? I like to believe I can be objective for the most part at times. I mean, reality is that, when it's your team, you're always going to have a softer, spot for your team when it comes to certain refereeing decisions. But there's been times I've just had to be like, yo, it's a foul. Like, I can't even be mad at it. It is what it is. He tried to do the pirouette. To me, he didn't really have a lot of control over his body movement. Once you step on somebody's heels, you on their toes, it's a foul. Then the argument is, well, if that wasn't a goal, would VAR have looked at it? Why would VAR look at something that was inconsequential? Like, it wasn't a goal. If it just went out for a corner, what's the point? But it literally directly led to a goal, so they have to view it. And the question is also, okay, where is he supposed to put his foot? I don't know, anywhere else but Chalobah's leg. Like, it's a contact sport. Yes. Are you going to be penalized sometimes? Yes. Other times you're going to get away with it. Absolutely. But if I'm jumping with you and we both need our hands for momentum when we jump, and we both jump and I hit you in the face with my elbow, it's still a foul. It's a contact sport. Yes. But it's still a foul. A lot of these things get called. So it's not like Muniz had full control over his movement. Like, yes, you try to do the pirouette, but you stepped on Chalobah's foot. That's a foul to me. Was it soft? Yes, but it's a foul. How many penalties have you seen where it's been the littlest of bit of contact? Player goes down, penalty given. Even with the little bit of clip, the little bit of contact, a penalty is given. So then in the same breath, I just don't understand the discourse when it comes to this. Like, did he stamp on his foot? Yes. Was it accidental? Yes. Did it lead to a goal? Yes. Did he foul the player? Yes. Therefore, it's a foul and the goal doesn't stand. It's really that simple. So were they robbed with that? No. Now the second one is the second penalty we scored. First of all, the ball was kicked to Chalo against Joao Pedro's hand in close proximity. Like, it happened so quick. He didn't make his body bigger to touch the ball. He controlled the ball with his chest. Player tried to kick the ball from the other side, cleared it, clipped his hand. Like, it's not like he's making his whole body bigger. But again, he didn't score from that moment. They cleared the ball. Caicedo won that ball again. Now there's another argument. Did he clip Iwobi? See, Caicedo didn't stamp Iwobi. He didn't put his foot on Iwobi. He got the ball. Cross comes out. The ball comes back out to Chalobah. He puts in a cross. And your player's Superman diving into, like, you're making your body so much bigger. Your body's away from your body. I mean, your hand is away from the body. It's a pen. Like, yes, it feels like, could that have been called out for Joao Pedro? But Joao Pedro didn't score in that moment. Like, the ball touching Joao Pedro's hand didn't directly lead to him scoring a goal. So you can't give that as a foul against Joao Pedro. That was in different stages of play. Yes, you could say maybe it was still in the same phase of play. But bro, that particular it went already, and Joao Pedro didn't win the penalty. So uh I thought you guys were what'd you call it? Yeah, it's okay. I mean, Bournemouth or Bournemouth. You'll be all right. You'll be all right, bro. But yeah, it is what it is. It's a pen, 2-0. I thought Joao Pedro was gonna take it. Enzo Fernandez really wanted to just kind of just I don't know. I guess he wanted to pay back the fans in a way because that first half performance was just it was nasty. That first half performance was just nasty. So it is it is what it is. But 2-0, not the prettiest, but hey, we move. 7 points on the board, clean sheet in this game, clean sheet against Palace. So that's what 2 clean sheets in 3 games. How many goals scored? About six goals scored, 1 conceded. No, 7 goals scored, 1 conceded. That's calm. Enzo Fernandez is the guy that is going to divide opinions regardless, But if my player is having those kinds of performances, I'm definitely gonna call it out. But if if he's able to find me an assist, find me a match winning goal, I'll be like, yo, your performance today was absolutely dog poo, but you got me the goal. Do better. So Fulham again, it sucks. It feels like they got cheated, but the pen was absolutely a pen. That foul on Chalobah was a foul because you're literally preventing Chalobah from being able to defend. You stamping on him inhibits him from literally doing anything else. That's a foul. How many times have a goalkeeper, a corner kick, a goalkeeper gone in to punch the ball, but a striker or a defender gets their head there first before the goalkeeper smacks on their head and it's a pen? Can you say, well, the goalkeeper was already there and he put his hand, the player put his head in his path? Yeah, but you didn't win the ball. Same shit. You hit the player in the head, it's a foul. You stamped on his foot, it's a foul. It is what it is. So comfortable win. It wasn't too bad. You know what I mean? But look, this Jackson situation, I mean, yeah, we do. He's our player. He's still under contract. If Bayern Munich really feels some type of way, like I said, just make that loan. Just make it a loan with an obligation and just keep it moving. We would replace Jackson, find somebody else. Because what we're not trying to do is still have Jackson on the books next year. And now we have this striker here. Then we still have Delap and we still have Joao Pedro. No. Because what if Bayern decide, you know what, in Jan, we're going to send Jackson back because he's been absolutely just useless for them. Then we're stuck with that. So we're going to know what we're doing with the Jackson situation. If he comes back, then we're not going in the market. If he doesn't, then it means Bayern have made his deal an obligation, or they're just outright paying for Jackson. And we need them to make a decision quick because, we ain't got that much time. The window is going to be closed soon. We need to know who we're bringing in, how much we're paying. We still we still have to comply with the whole UEFA rule. Make sure the squad is adhering to those regulations. So we can't just be spending crazy money out here either. So they should just hurry up and give us the money for Jackson. But let's do a little bit of a Fermin Jackson's agent, man. All right, so this is what Jackson's agent posted on Instagram. Man, got agents posting on IG now. It's crazy. Of course, it's hard. It's supposed to be hard. If it's easy, everyone would do it. Hard is what makes it great. Don't even understand what that means. But yes, just let Bayern Munich know. Of course, it's hard. It's supposed to be hard. If it's easy, everybody would do it. Hard is what makes it great. Tell them the run is that money. I need you to show them this quote right here. and be like, yo, I know it's not easy to pay 60 M's for Jackson. It's supposed to not be easy because if it was easy, Newcastle would have had him, Villa would have had him, Man United would have had him, you know, all these other teams would have had him. But because Jackson is so great, this is why it's hard. Just show this to Bayern Munich and just let them know, yo, run us that money or you send them back. Right? Like right now, Jackson is in Germany. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the holiday weekend and whatnot. Long weekend. Have a good time in Germany. Go eat some food, you know, explore the town. But then, yeah, by Monday, report back to training. If Bayern ain't buying you, that's just the reality, man. If they want you that badly, they're going to pay the money for you. So yeah, it's just what it is. Ay, ay, ay. Look at this. Okay, so this is from Pie's tweet. Nicolas Jackson insists on his position to play for Bayern and is staying in Munich tonight. If there are no solutions that can be found, Jackson will have to return to London. Furman is still the same. Barcelona still don't have any request from player to leave. All right, so look, it seems like we're as we were, stand still. I know we're definitely gonna go by. We're gonna sign it forward. If it's not Jackson, we're bringing in somebody emergency. So I'm not even gonna really um, panic as much. Now, if by tomorrow we're not hearing anything, and then by Monday we're not hearing anything, then it's like, okay, we might have a problem. If we're not hearing nothing by Monday, then we definitely might have a problem. So let's just see what happens. The thing is, like, even Matt Lowe has reported that Jackson's family have confirmed that he's still in Munich and he has no intentions of returning or playing for Chelsea. They claim he has not accepted the club's decision to call off the loan and his fears over the situation he has been left with. Bro, there's nothing you could do about it. It's literally in Bayern and Chelsea's hands. You're a Chelsea player, factually. You have a fat contract with them. If Bayern wants you that badly, let them put the money on the table, or bruh, you gotta come back. It's not that hard. We need you. Bro, we need you. Nico, we need you. But if you don't want to come back, no problem. Just run us that money. We could go spend it on Wissa and Bayern. You and Bayern will meet you in the champs. Like that's it. You know? If you don't want to come, it's calm. Just Bayern run us that money. We get Wissa, we get Fermin Lopez. And then when we meet in the champs, we could just, we could hash it out. And then we see what's popping. That's it. But I did say we're gonna look at we're gonna watch some Fermin Lopez comps. So let's do this, people. Let us do this. Oh, by the way, how decent was Esteval today? The kid plays with no fear, man. Oh, and I did want to talk about a Joao Pedro. This guy is special. Joao Pedro is when links were first made to this guy, you know what everybody said. Why Chelsea looking at Joao Pedro? He doesn't even score 10 goals a season. Why are you wasting money on another positionless player who's not really going to do anything? But, it don't take that much for you to realize Joao Pedro is a very good player. So, like, what are we doing? Very good player. But let us watch a bit of Fermin Lopez. Let's just see what he could do. Yeah. Let's watch a little bit of his comps and okay. This was 3 days ago. Okay. Okay, we could do this one. Could do this one. But yeah, just want to see the profile of player Furman is. Just see, watch a few of these actions, and we see what we're potentially trying to buy. So we see what we're trying to buy. Okay. Good ball. Very nice ball, actually. Okay, quick feet. Okay. And if we do sign him, good ball as well. Play a bit out wide, but okay, that's a fantastic ball. Yeah, that's a great pass, actually. But at least with him, this is a player that has played in the champs for Barca. Like, looks, oof, okay. Look at the feet, close control in a crowded area, and somehow still just nice feet. Nutmeg, okay. Showing strength on the ball. Okay. The vision, the pass. Okay. Okay. So what is he more of like a is it more of an 8 than a 10? Strength. Okay. Pass. Okay. He has that, that kind of low, feels like he has that low center of gravity, can just bounce off players even when he's being trying to being pulled down and whatnot. That's some serious tech right there. And when I was looking at his stats the other day, right, his defensive actions weren't, they were very like on the lower end. So, and I'm not expecting someone like him to be focused on defending, because it don't look like he's in that Barcelona team to be defensive. But he looks like he likes a challenge. He'll get stuck in if it needs to. Yeah, you still want your expressive players to be able to be, to graft, but the grafted. So it doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad at all. Pass. Okay. So he does have a pass on him too. Okay, that's that quick feet right there. Quick feet, quick thinking. Okay. Damn, look at the defending in some of this clips though. My God. Ball again. The defending in this league, man. Yeah, he has quick feet. Like the guy, he has some quick feet, quick thinking as well. Damn. The Megs, bro. They be clean. Comfortable on his left foot as well. Doesn't mind playing it with his left. Okay, nice. Nice reverse to Lewandowski. Okay, finish. Shoot from outside the box. We could do with that. We definitely want to have what you call it, shooters in this team. So I don't mind that at all. I do not mind that at all. Actually, hold on one sec. Let me hold up. Hold up, people. Let me just do this. Playback speed. Just increase the speed a bit. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, so you said he's more of a 10 that can play 8, but he has the finishing of a striker like Cole Palmer does. Look, if you could bring me finishes into this team, I'm happy with it. Because God knows, oh, look at that pass. God knows we need people who can finish in this team. Like so far, Joao Pedro showed he can finish. We know Cole Palmer can finish. We know Esteban has the ability and you know the finishing on him as well. So we know that for sure. I mean, Enzo Fernandez is becoming more of a box crusher and is finishing off chances. So if you're adding more shooters, more people to this team that can finish, then yo, I'm not mad at it at all. I'm not mad at it. But a 10 that can play 8, yeah, calm. I won't be mad at it at all. And like I said, he looks like he doesn't shy away from a challenge if he needs to, you know, get stuck in. And this is the Prem, man. You're gonna need to be able to do that. He's got a shot on him as well. Yeah, he doesn't. He looks pretty decent. I ain't even gonna lie to you. But again, this is comps though. Comps can make anybody look good. But then I've watched some comps of some people who, you know, you're bad when you look bad in comps because comps are supposed to make you look great. But I bet you we can find some Garnacho comps and you think he's a world beater too. So, but realistically, when we've shopped from Barcelona, we have not been disappointed, have we? Sask, Pedro. So it can't fail. It cannot fail. You know what I mean? Question is he really going to push for the move? Is Barcelona really going to want to sell him, or are we just wasting our time? But if we're out here putting in bids and talking to his agent and whatnot, you know, we might definitely be offering him a nice wage too. And that's another thing you got to consider. A nice wage, just a pathway into the team like I've talked about. And yeah, it could work for us. So let's see if we can find another one to. Okay, this was 8 minutes. That's too long. All right, let's one more and then we'll call it a day. Actually, one more and then we could just call this Lopez thing a day. But I wouldn't mind us getting him honestly. Let's just get him in and call it a day. You know what I mean? All right. I hope this is not the same video I'm just watching. I just watched the same video. Why I feel like the same thing I'm just playing. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I'm just watching the same video. Okay, let's watch something else. Okay. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Turn. Look at that turn. Good ball as well. You know, and we do need somebody that can drive this team from midfield as well. Just those driving runs. You know, when you have people who can do that, you do open up a lot of space for your other forwards, man. When you're driving through the middle like that, you're gonna have these other guys giving you different type of runs. You know, it's not bad. So, and he can finish too. I mean, can't really be mad at that. Finds himself in some goal scoring positions in the box as well. Hey, listen, if we can make it happen, why not? If we can make it happen, why not? Why not? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Get him in, man. We signed Garnacho. Can't be no worse than Garnacho. I'm just so honest. Can't be worse than Garnacho. But yeah, guys. So our next game is, let me see who we play next. We're not playing until the 13th, I believe, of September. So we have a week off. And we play Brentford when we come back. And then, damn, we play Bayern Munich right after that. Ooh. This could be the Nicolas Jackson derby, yo. If Bayern actually do sign him, then, yeah, he would therefore have a point to prove. Jackson will probably be in his bag, man. And Jackson is a very, very good technical player. Like, might not be the best goal scorer or the most clinical, but Jackson just gives you a lot. Like his plus minus in the games is just, it's decent. Like when Jackson is there, sometimes you feel his presence. When he's not there, you miss his presence, you know. So yeah, Jackson, Champions League, it might be something different, man. And that, I don't know. For me, this whole situation, I hope it's sorted out by tomorrow, because if they're not gonna send him back, then just pay the money and keep him. But if he's got to come back, then he's got to come back, because Jackson in the same team with Joao Pedro, Esteval, it might be good. People, like, don't forget this. Even though Jackson might not be clinical, Jackson has. I've always said this, and I'm always going to maintain this. Jackson can be a very good false nine for you. Genuinely. Like if you want to keep all of Jackson's actions away from the box, but he gives you so much lead into it, you could do that. I said it somewhere that Jackson could potentially play as a 10. People don't believe it. Look, in that role, a typical 10 is someone who needs to be creative. So maybe not a 10, but if you want to play Jackson as a second striker, you could, because his back to the goal play is ridiculous. Like, Jackson is hard to get off the ball. That's a fact. You know, he's fairly creative. You've seen the amount of assists him and Cole Palmer have had between each other. So Jackson, like, even in the Club World Cup, you saw that ball he played to Pedro Neto. Against Bournemouth, you saw that pass he played to Cole Palmer. So everything up leading to goal scoring, that's where Jackson's bread is. But when it comes to being that guy who puts the finishing touch on top of everything, that's where he kind of falters. But look, either way, I just know if he goes, we're bringing somebody in. And if it doesn't go, then we keep Jackson. So we'll see what happens, man. It's just, I hope this situation is sorted out by Sunday. In other news, Tottenham lost today to Bournemouth. And I've been saying this for time. Bournemouth are not a shit team. Areola has that team playing some serious football. Bournemouth are a problem. We saw that last, we saw that what was it? Last year. They beat they beat Man City. I think they beat Arsenal. Chelsea, they didn't beat Chelsea. They didn't beat Liverpool. But everybody else was catching smoke to Bournemouth. They've lost all their center backs. They look like they were going to sign Disasi, and they've just never come back in for Disasi. But I don't know. Have Spurs peaked too early already? Obviously, it's too early to say, but Bournemouth are no joke. I'm happy to see Tottenham drop some points today. Long may that continue. Obviously, after they signed ring from us, it is what it is. But I still expect Tottenham to be in like the top 10. So we'll see. Like I said, after the transfer window is done, because I did a prediction video for everyone finishes. I think once the window closes, I will do another one. I'll compare and contrast the positions I put, the teams from 1 to 10 and then from 11 to 20. And then, we'll try to see if we need to do any reshuffles. We need to move people down. But Tottenham's team, look, I'm not even going to lie. Kudus, Xavi Simons, Brennan Johnson might not be a lot of people's favorite, but he gets you goals. He gets in goal scoring positions. Richarlison, he can be hot and cold. But that midfield, is balanced. Paulinia, Sar, Bentancur, so it's this team looks like it'll be fun to watch. You know, defense, Van der Ven, Romero, they could be very solid when they want to be. Spence and Porro, look, I like their center backs. Spence has been pretty decent for some time now, but I still think he could be gotten at. Porro, I mean, we've seen Porro's ankles snatched like chains, so it is what it is. Bentancur is just an okay player for me. Not really anything special. Sar, he's definitely stepping it up. Got an engine on him. And Paulinia, he's going to provide that, that base for that midfield to just operate. But now when it gets to that point where, if you're playing all three, if you're playing Paulinia, you're playing Sar, and you're playing Bentancur, then you might just have to play Xavi Simons off the left, Kudus off the right, and then you're gonna have to go with Solanke, or you're gonna have to go with Richarlison. And that's not a bad starting 11 either, to be honest with you. And out of that whole team, look, there's probably 3 players I'll take out of that. I'll probably take either Romero or Van der Ven. One of them, I'll take Kudus, and I'll take Simmons. That's it. Everybody else, yeah, they can keep. So it's gonna be a very interesting season for Spurs. Man United, as usual. The drama just with United does not stop, does it? United are just, I put United, I put them in the top 5 or top 6. I don't think they're gonna get it. I don't think they're going to get it. It's just, I might have overestimated what they could do with those signings. I must have really thought Amarin could really get it down packed this season with the signings. You have Mbumo, you have Cunha, you bought Sesko in, bro. Like, that's 200 mil right there. People want to keep talking about money, but at least Mbumo and Cunha, these are like bona fide finishes, had great seasons last year. So to still have them looking like this is just, I don't know, man. Maybe that system I've said it, that system just maybe is not working. Maybe Almiron just needs to go to a flat back 4-2-3-1 and try something different. Because that 3-4-3 with these, I don't know, man. It's just not working. It's not working. It's making your good players look bad. Just do like a 4-3-3. I don't know. Just 4-3-3 and just go for it. You could at least have Bruno in midfield. You can have Casemiro in midfield. You can have Kobe in midfield if you need to. But I don't know, man. But like I said, after the transfer window, we're going to have to do a whole prediction again, because I might have thought United were going to do something special this season. But yeah, we'll see. Tomorrow, Liverpool, Arsenal play. We'll definitely we'll cover that in some capacity as well. But yeah, I just want to get my 2 cents out of this Fulham game. Wanted to make sense out of that whole VAR situation, because I just think it was a foul, man. I know people want to say soft. People want to ask, where should he place his foot? Maybe not on the opposition's ankle, wherever it was. Just, that's probably some place you don't want to do that, because then it's going to be called for a foul. It is what it is. The pen was a pen. I mean, you can't just spread your wings like a bird and you, come on, bro. Like even with the Joao Pedro thing, we've seen certain instances in other games where the ball hits a player's hand, but the ball's traveled so the distance between that situation was so short, you can't give it. It's not like he's actively trying to make himself bigger, so you can't call that a foul. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, man. But this Jackson situation, guys, keep an eye out for it. I'm sure there's going to be updates hour by the hour, and we'll see how that turns out, man. But people, as always, if this is your first time coming across the content, like the video, hop in the comments, sub to the channel, guys. Sub to the channel, roads to 300, and then upwards. But always love the support, appreciate the support whenever people, show up. It makes the content a bit more interactive, especially when my regulars now hop in the comments. I always appreciate y'all for that. But yeah, man, keep your phones close to you because the next 48 hours is about to go crazy. Who knows? And I said this too before I leave. You know, Isak wants to go to Liverpool so bad, right? He doesn't want to go anywhere but Liverpool. If Liverpool don't want to pay the 120, no, the 140 Newcastle is asking for, and somebody else pulls up with like 140, does he still say he wouldn't go to them? I'm just curious. Because if Liverpool are not going to pay them 140 or 130, whatever it is, if they stick it to 120, you don't want to stay at Newcastle. And another team pulls up with 140 flat. Is he going to go or is he going to still wait for Liverpool? I'm curious because we need a striker. So we might have to ring, especially if Jackson doesn't want to come back. And then I don't know. Wishful thinking, obviously, but it could be something that happens, man. But people, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace as always, man. Stay safe. Stay safe.